Welcome back, students. This is the fourth lecture of our weekly current affairs series. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, go and subscribe to the channel and also hit the bell icon so that you never miss any update from our side. Let's start off with the quote of the week. It is given by Mahatma Gandhi. It says, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." This quote can be used to highlight the importance of the justice system or judiciary, or the significance or its importance, or anything which is relevant with the judiciary and the justice system. So it becomes quite important quote for us. Now let's take up our first GS1 section and the subsection of history. The first news which was related in the recent week was related to Kadambini Ganguly. She, along with the Chandramukhi Basu, they became the first female graduates in India, not in a particular region but in whole India. So they become important. And recently Google celebrated 160th birth anniversary of this Kadambini Ganguly. And for us, this Google news is not important. For us, it is important to know that they were the first female graduates from India, and also the first all-women delegation of the Indian National Congress, which happened in 1889. There, Kadambini Ganguly was one of the 6 members, and she is also related with the campaign for women's rights. So this was all about the Kadambini Ganguly. Now let's move on to our next news, which is related to Buddhist monuments, as they have been given some status under a scheme which is known as Adarsh Samark scheme. Before we know about the scheme, let's talk about the importance of these sites. First is Nagarjuna Konda. Second is Salihudam and Veerbhadra temple at Lipakshi. These need to be remembered with respect to their location, that all these are located in Andhra Pradesh, and also they are covered under this Adarsh Samark scheme. Now what is this Adarsh Samark scheme? It was launched in 2014 to provide the basic amenities to the physically challenged people. Actually, there are various protected monuments and protected sites which are under the this Archaeological Survey of India. So they have been covered under this Adarsh Samark scheme, and at those sites various amenities will be provided to the visitors which are actually physically challenged. So in a way it is a kind of we can say help to those people who are physically challenged in visiting all those sites, so that we can provide all the basic facilities. And obviously, as it is related to the Archaeological Survey of India, so it will be implemented by Ministry of Culture. This is something which can be guessed easily. Educated guess can be there for this. This was related to history subsection. Now let's come to the society subsection. The first news is related to Indian Labour Conference. But before knowing about the Indian Labour Conference, we must be knowing that there is something convention number 144 of ILO. ILO is the International Labour Organization, and India was one of the founding fathers of the ILO. There is this convention 144 of ILO, which India has ratified. Ratified means first a country accepts some convention, but ratification means a particular law has been created after accepting that convention. So there are various conventions where India has accepted the convention, India has become part of it, but India has not ratified it. So ratification means you have not only accepted the convention, but also you have enacted a law for that. So here India has also made a law, and as per that law there is this Indian Labour Conference, which is the apex level tripartite consultative committee. Now we must be knowing what is tripartite. Tripartite is actually the cooperation between the government, an organization, and the laborers. We can say, see here, tripartite or tripartism is the economic cooperation based on tripartite, means three parties are involved. These contracts between the employers organization, means one is the organization who is hiring the employees. Second, trade unions, means the employers and the employees are having their own unions, and also the government of the country. So India has to, as per this convention, India has to develop this tripartite consultative committee, which is also known as Indian Labour Conference. So India has done this, and it comes under the Ministry of Labour and Employment. This is quite one can judge easily, and it is there to advise the government on the issues concerning the working class of the country. And the first meeting of the Indian Labour Conference, then it was known as Tripartite National Labour Conference, that was held in 1942, and so far 46 sessions have been held. Now, how is this very fact important for us with respect to the exam? In exam, a statement can be asked that the first meeting of this ILC that was convened recently, this kind of statement can be there, or that was convened say in 2012 or something like that. But if you know that this thing has happened way back and not recently, so one can easily remove that very statement. So these kinds of things are usually asked, and UPSC plays around these things. So one must be aware of just simple facts. You need not to remember this exact date nor these 46 sessions, but you must have an idea that this is not a recent thing. So ILC is required to uphold the noble tradition of tripartism in the country, as India has ratified the convention number 44 of ILO. Now you can guess out that what is happening around this news. First, India has ratified convention 144 of ILO, then it has developed this Indian Labour Conference, which is actually the apex level tripartite consultative committee, and India needs to uphold, means India needs to take this thing ahead, and not means just ratification is not or the formation of this conference is not only the solution, it has to be taken way ahead. And Indian Labour Conference discusses and deliberates on significant issues like minimum wages, and also the standing orders for the employment and methodology, means all such things they are being discussed, and on all such matters government is being advised by this committee. So in a way this thing is very much beneficial for guarding the rights of the laborers. Now let's move ahead. We must be knowing about Stand Up India scheme. As you may guess that it is something which is for the upliftment of some sections. So it is actually related to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship means you are not only the job seeker, but you are job giver. Say for example, I was given some finance by the bank, and I opened a factory. Earlier I was looking and searching for the job, but now I have hired 10 employees there, and I am giving employment to 10 people. So I am an entrepreneur now. And who has helped me out? The bank. So likewise here, what happens under the scheme? First of all, we must be knowing that SIDBI and NABARD are the implementing agencies of this stand-up scheme. They will be implementing, they will be looking at what is happening around this scheme, and then we must be knowing that what the scheme is. Obviously the news, the context is that Government of India has extended the duration of this scheme up to 2025. But what this scheme is, it was launched in 2016 and it seeks to promote entrepreneurship, as I told, and it is being implemented by SIDBI and NABARD. But this scheme is actually for on the SC, STs and the women. Means if say there is an area and there are 10 branches of SBI, then each branch is obliged to provide the loan. Means each branch of the scheduled commercial banks, but only the scheduled commercial banks and not the others like regional or cooperative banks. Under this scheme, if every branch of scheduled commercial bank in an area, say 10 branches are there, they have to provide the loan of between rupees 10 lakh to 1 crore to at least one SC or ST borrower and one woman borrower, right, per bank branch, for the various enterprises or for various projects which are greenfield in the manufacturing, services or trading sector. Greenfield means all the projects which are started from the scratch, which are started as new projects. It's not like say I am repairing an old ATM. An ATM was already there and now I am just repairing it, I am just giving service to it. This means it is a brownfield project. If there is an airport and I am just renovating it, this means it is a brownfield project. But with respect to the greenfield project, means I am building the airport from the scratch itself. I am building a new airport. This means a greenfield project. So even from this paragraph, means these 6-7 lines, around 6 to 7 objectives can be framed. Like it can be asked that this means RRBs are also included in this, but we know that only scheduled commercial banks are obliged for this. It can be asked that the loan can be given to any person, but no, it can be only given to SCs or STs or one woman per bank branch in an area. If in an area there are 10 bank branches, so they have to give loan to at least one, mean at least 10 SC or ST and 10 women. And it can be asked that whether it is for greenfield projects or brownfield projects. It can be asked whether it is only in manufacturing sector or in service sector also, in trading sector also. So lots of objectives can be framed out from here. So this is an important topic. Please keep a note of it. Now let's move ahead, and there is a scheme which is known as SMILE. It stands for Support for Marginalized Individuals for Livelihood and Enterprise. Marginalized individuals is a broad term which includes disabled people, which includes the poorer people, which includes the women, which includes vulnerables, which includes tribals. Means all the people who have been at a sort of disadvantage in one way or another. These are the marginalized people. For these people, SMILE is a scheme so that we can support and uplift them by various ways. By what all ways? By all such ways like education and skill development, economic linkage, by rehabilitation. Means if there is some say human trafficking is there, the victims of human trafficking, they can be rehabilitated, medical facilities can be provided to them, and counseling can be given to them, and basic documentation can be arranged for them if they are not being able to arrange such things for themselves. So it's a broad scheme, and under this there is a sub scheme which is a central sector scheme. Means all the expenses will be borne by the center, and this scheme is known as the comprehensive rehabilitation of persons engaged in the act of begging. Means for beggars also we are having a scheme which is actually a sub scheme of this larger scheme which is known as SMILE, because under the SMILE marginalized individuals, marginalized section is included, and beggars are one of the parts of the marginalized sections. So this whole SMILE scheme, this will be implemented with the help of state or UT governments and urban local bodies or voluntary organizations or community based organizations. Means it will be implemented by the help of the states, because it needs to be implemented at the grassroots level. Although it is a central sector scheme, means whole cost will be borne by the center, but the support from the governments and the voluntary organizations or the people who are involved at the grassroots level, they will be engaged. And obviously if it is for marginalized section of the society, so Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is an easy guess for this scheme. So this implementing agency means how it is implemented at the state level or UT level, this can be asked. This scheme, SMILE scheme, is related to what, this can be asked. And for beggars, such a scheme is there, this can be used in mains, and likewise the ministry can be asked. And then there is some data which is related to the beggars in India, which can be asked in not asked actually, but it can be used in the mains examination. This data that in India there are about this much of beggars, and this is about census 2011, and where males are more than females. This data is important. And West Bengal tops the chart, then Uttar Pradesh, and then Bihar among the states. And with respect to the union territories, New Delhi is at the top, followed by Chandigarh, and the least number of beggars are there in Lakshadweep. The exact numbers need not be remembered, just the trend has to be there so that we can quote. And among the northeastern states, Assam tops the chart, and Mizoram is ranked lowest. And again, I would say numbers are not important. So with this we completed our society section and also completed the GS1 section. Now let's come to the GS2 section and take the polity subsection. The first topic is related to the constitutional and the legislative provisions related to trafficking in India. Trafficking means human trafficking, because these things were recently in the limelight. But what we need to know about this human trafficking is the constitutional and the legislative provisions only, because these things can be asked in the static based questions which are actually inspired from the current affairs. So we must be knowing that under the Constitution of India, Article 23 Clause 1 is something which prohibits this human trafficking or trafficking in human, we can say. Then coming to the statutory provisions or legal legislative provisions, there is ITPA, which is Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, which is there for prevention of the trafficking of the commercial sexual exploitation. So trafficking of human for the commercial sexual exploitation means any human trafficking, but especially related to this. Then with respect to the IPC, we are having section 370 which was amended, and now we are having section 370 and 370A of IPC which are actually related to human trafficking, means for tackling with this menace of human trafficking. This much is enough. Now let's take up a dam project which is Mekedatu dam project, and with respect to this we must be knowing its location, the river on which this project is, and why is this project in news, what is the controversy. First let's see where is this project. 1 minute. Yeah, here this Mekedatu project, this is actually here it is, this is Karnataka, this is Karnataka, this is Tamil Nadu, means this is the boundary, this black line, here it is Kerala. So it is here, means in Karnataka, it is here, this is a Kaveri River, and it is somewhere here. So this dam is actually meant for providing the drinking water facilities to Bangalore. So it is in a way good for Karnataka that they want to use the water, but what Tamil Nadu is saying that by building a dam upstream, it will actually hamper the river water flow in this Kaveri River downstream in this Tamil Nadu region. This is the conflict, and now let's see the things closely. This was about the basic conflict. So we also came to know that it is on the Kaveri River, and Kaveri Water Management Authority is also there, which is looking at this conflict. And it is this dam is actually situated at the confluence of the river Kaveri and its tributary, which is Arkavathi, means the tributary of Kaveri. And issue we already discussed, that it is there for providing the drinking water facilities to Bangalore city. And now let's study few things about the Kaveri River. First of all, it arises in Brahmagiri hills of Western Ghats in southwestern Karnataka state, means somewhere here. Brahmagiri hills are somewhere here, so this can be asked in the examination. The river basin covers 3 states. This can also be asked. 3 states and a union territory, means one is Kerala, another is Karnataka, then there is one is Karnataka, then there is Tamil Nadu, then there is Kerala. Kerala means, see here, some tributaries are here, so it will also be included. So 3 states are there, and there is a this union territory of Puducherry here. Here Puducherry, actually all the tributaries are not being shown here, but some tributaries are also here. So this river Kaveri is having a stretch of 3 states and 1 union territory. Some key tributaries are Kabani, Amravati, and Hemavati, and Bhavani rivers, and etc. And please just locate these at your own from the map. And then falls along the way. As soon as this Kaveri River enters the Tamil Nadu, there are various twisted gorges and folds, and then there are famous falls which are known as Hogenakal Falls. These are important. So it can be asked that Hogenakal Falls are situated or related to which river. Then also the Mettur Dam is also constructed in Tamil Nadu on this river. See here, it is Mettur Dam. Here, it is Mettur Dam present in Tamil Nadu on Kaveri. Now, it may seem that it is a kind of geography kind of thing, but it is actually related to a political issue of river water dispute in the southern states. So it becomes important with respect to the Viva also. These things are asked usually. Now let's move ahead. Something which is related to 97th constitutional amendment and this news is very much important for the Assistant Registrar of Cooperatives, the exam of which is going to be held I think in October or November first week. So actually the Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of this 97th constitutional amendment, but it struck down few of its provisions, especially those provisions which were related to the constitution and working of the cooperative societies. Constitution and the working, so they were struck down, and the reason which was given that it is a state subject and states are authorized to make laws on it, and if center has to make a law at all for achieving uniformity of the rules and regulations, as the center had proclaimed that they did this for providing uniformity in the laws, then Supreme Court asked that you could use Article 252, where center can ask the states that they want to legislate a law in the state list, and if two or more states are giving assent that yes, you can make law on such and such state subject, then center can make law. Also, there is a provision in Article 368 clause 2, where if at all center is adamant in making a law or in making any amendment to an existing law, then there has to be ratification of one half of the state legislatures if that matter is dealing with the state subject. So these provisions become important with respect to this objectives. Means these objectives can be asked, these statements can be asked in the preliminary examination, and also that whether it is a state subject or the union, it is related to union list. And also one thing can be asked, that 97th constitutional amendment, it is actually related to the effective management of cooperative societies. This thing can be asked in the form of any statement. And this 97th constitutional amendment came into force in 2012, and it amended Article 19(1)(c) and Article 43(b) and Part IXB related to them. So go and search for these three things by yourself, but these things can be asked, that 97th constitutional amendment was related to what thing. And now if some parts of it have been struck down, then how is this thing important, and how is this thing impacting? Go and search about it. It is an interesting topic, but whatever was important with respect to prelims I discussed here. Now another news is related to Bhima Koregaon caste violence case. Simply it can be asked that Bhima Koregaon case is related to what thing? It is related to the issue of under trials, and Supreme Court has said that speedy trials is also a fundamental right under Article 21, right to life. As this case was related to something like there are various people who are being caught under various offenses, but till their offense is proved, they are kept under trials, and many a time it happens that they spend almost the whole time which is dedicated for their crime, they spend even that much of time in the jails under trials, and the justice is not delivered to them. So speedy trial is an important thing, because even if in future they are released by proclaiming that they were innocent, but till that time they had already faced the punishment in the form of those trials. So then there is no meaning of that kind of delivery of justice system, and that's why in one of the cases also Supreme Court said that justice delayed is justice denied, because that way the people will lose their faith also in the justice system, and they will not resort to such things. They will take the law in their hands, and this is also one of the common problems which we are seeing today. So speedy trial is one of the solution, and now it has been also proclaimed as the part of the fundamental right under Article 21. So now let's move on to the IR subsection of GS 2. Sorry, this is GS2, not GS3. Oh, right. There has been some problem here. I had to write GS3. The GS3 had to be here. Okay, no problem. We will handle this thing. Okay, now under IR section there is one important news which is related to Kaman Aman Setu. What is Kaman Aman Setu? It is a flag meeting between Indian and Pakistan armies where they exchange sweets. So it is a good diplomatic move for correcting the bitter ties or bitter diplomatic relations between India and Pakistan, and especially if it comes through the armed forces. So Kaman Aman Setu, it is related to what? This can be asked in the examination. So it is a flag meeting and sweets are exchanged, and it occurs at which place? It occurs at Uri, which is in North Kashmir. This can be asked. As then we must also be knowing that this Kaman Aman Setu, friendship bridge between India and Pakistan, is also the last point of India-Pak border in the Uri district. So Kaman this is a event. This is an event, but also this is a place. Means Kaman Aman Setu is a place, and it is also the name of an event at the same place, which is the last point of India-Pakistan border in the Uri district, where flag meeting and exchange of sweets happen, and it is present. This location is there in the Uri district of North Kashmir, and there is also a Kaman Aman Setu friendship bridge between India and Pakistan, which is also the last point. Means that bridge is the last point, and obviously Kaman Aman Setu is the last place, but in the Uri district only, not the other parts. So this was the only news which was more relevant to prelims in this IR section. Now let's move ahead to GS3 section. All these topics come under the GS3 section now. Now let's take up this science and tech subsection. Before knowing what is this Zhurong rover, we must be knowing that Tianwen-1 mission is China's mission, which is related to their mission on the Mars. This much is important. All these other information, these are not important. And this is a mission which will be having an orbiter, a lander, and a rover. Orbiter means let me tell you, say this is a planet. Orbiter is a kind of satellite or a kind of artificial, we can say, a vehicle which is actually revolving around this planet P. This is orbiter. It is orbiting. The lander is something which is helping in landing. It is also known as soft landing. And after landing, then comes the rover. Rover is something which will move over the surface of this planet. We have seen these things a lot of times in the Discovery Channel, that such robotic kind of vehicles, they are just crawling on the Mars or Moon or any such kind of planet. These are rovers. So these three things are important with respect to this mission. First, we must be knowing that this mission is related to Tianwen 1 mission is China's mission, which is related to Mars, and it will be having all the three orbiter, lander, and rover, right? And Zhurong is a rover, which is related to this Tianwen mission, right? It has driven 509 meters on the surface of Mars. Means it means first China went around this Mars in this orbiter, then it soft landed, and then it successfully drove the rover, which is known as Zhurong, over this Mars surface. So this story has to be remembered so that we may come to know about these facts. Let's start off from the third fact so that it becomes easy to remember. China became the first country to carry out all the three things, means orbiter, lander, and rover, all these operations during its first mission to Mars. Means earlier also various countries, they have taken orbiter, lander, and rovers to Mars, but not in their very first operation, but in the various shifts and phases. And China becomes the only second country after USA to send a rover to the moon surface. Means the other countries have not been able to send the rover, they have been able to soft land only. And what are those countries? Let's take up this. China becomes the third nation to achieve a successful soft landing on Mars after Soviet Union and United States. Means first Soviet Union, means which is known as Russia now, that and United States, they have soft landed, but only United States have had till now used the rover. Now China has used, it has become the second country, and China is the only first country which has used all these three operations right in its first mission. So all these facts can be asked in the examination. Go through them seriously and in a very delightful manner, just making the stories out of it and then dealing with such kind of facts, because these can be confusing at times. So now we must also be knowing about other Mars missions, because their names can be asked in the match in such kind of questions where match the following kind of things are asked. Like NASA is having its Perseverance rover. Means Perseverance rover is related to NASA, which is also a rover of Mars. Then UAE's Hope Mars mission, it is UAE's first ever interplanetary mission. So it is not its first space mission, its first interplanetary mission, means to different planets, right? And it is also known as simply Hope mission. Then India's Mangalyaan or Mars orbiter mission, this is also related to Mars, although India is aspiring for this to get success, but this mission is related to India, Mangalyaan, and it is related to Mars especially. Now let's take up the next topic, which is related to Pegasus. Pegasus is actually a spyware, we can say a virus in common terms, which is being developed by an Israeli firm, NSO. Spyware means it spies on the people, their phones, and what happens that they will be sending you a link, and once you click on the link, then with that link a code will be installed on your phone, and with that code this Pegasus, this spyware is also installed, and then the spyware will actually send back all the private data, including the passwords, contact list, calendar, text, etc., etc., and also the voice calls from the popular messaging apps like WhatsApp and others to the people, to the company who have developed this spyware. Means it is spying you. Then it can also A target phone's camera and microphone means they can be turned on to capture the activity in the phone's vicinity, expanding the scope of surveillance. These things can be asked, that Pegasus is related to, it is a virus, it is a spyware, and what can it do? It can send back what kind of data, or can it turn on the microphone or camera? These kind of statements can be made out of this. But one more important thing is that it can not only be installed, it can not only attack on the smartphones through the link, but it can also attack without any such kind of link. That is also known as zero click attack. Means you are not clicking any link, but still and unknowingly you are having no clue, you are clueless, and this virus has attacked you. Means it doesn't matter whether you have clicked on a link or not, but still through various applications and through various web-based activities, this malware also, means a virus. A spyware is also a kind of virus, a malware, which can attack you. So, and how can it do so? Means how can it attack by zero click mechanism? It can attack by exploiting such softwares which receive data even before it can determine whether it is trustworthy or not. Means, say this is a center in our phone which is receiving data, right? Then it is sending data to another center which is actually cross checking that whether the data is correct, it is trustworthy or not. But if this virus attacking at this very stage, then means even before it is being checked by the system, if it is attacking you at this stage, so you need no such clicks, no such kind of links, because in this system, if it would have attacked here, then what would happen? Such kind of link will be treated as a link which is not safe. You may have experienced such things in the desktops when antivirus is actually blocking certain links, and also the Chrome in your mobile phones. But if it is exploiting those softwares which receive data even before it can determine whether it is coming from a trustworthy source or not, so it is not actually going here, it is attacking at this place. And one more important thing, this Pegasus is related to phone, not the laptops or the desktops. So this can also be asked in JKSSB kind of examinations. Now let's move ahead. Let's take up this news of Indian Medicine Pharmaceutical Corporation Limited, IMPCL, which has applied for WHO GMP COPP certification for 18 Ayurvedic products. What is this GMP? GMP means good manufacturing practice. Means if you are providing such certification to a product, it means that that product has been manufactured with by following the practices which are treated as good manufacturing practices. Means all those practices are recognized and we can trust that product. And what is COPP? COPP means, and this is certificate of pharmaceutical product, means you are providing this GMP, good manufacturing practice certificate to a pharmaceutical product which is also being provided with the certificate of pharmaceutical product. Means for means you are providing this good manufacturing GMP certificate, but to what kind of manufacturing? To the manufacturing of the pharmaceutical product, means to a company which is already having the certificate of pharmaceutical product. That's why this slash is here. So this is an integrated kind of thing, that you are providing this thing to what? To a company who is already having COPP, and that COPP is also related to WHO. And here it can be asked that WHO, GMP, COPP, this is related to what thing, and who is actually dealing with such things, and we know this IMPCL is dealing with such things, and this GMP and COPP is related to what, this is related to WHO, this can be asked. So this news becomes important for us. Then there is one more news, which is man portable anti-tank guided missile, MPATGM, man portable anti-tank guided missile. Man portable anti-tank guided missile means it is something which is anti-tank, means which can be used to attack the tanks and destroy them, and it is something which is man portable, means it is not heavy, it can be used by an army personnel by holding over the shoulder or any such kind of thing. And this is quite evident from the name itself, but what is important here is that it is a third generation. This thing is important. Then it has been indigenously developed by DRDO. Maybe there can be a statement that it has been developed by DRDO with collaboration to some other company, but no, it is indigenously developed, and it is not of second, fourth or some generation, it is of third generation, and its range is important. It is of 2.5 kilometers, and it works on the fire and forget principle. This can be asked. Fire and forget means once you have fixed your target, then you need not to we can say that guide your missile towards the target till it hits the target. There are various such kind of systems which were not actually advanced, where one had to guide the missiles till it hit the target as per the moment of the target. But here fire and forget means, the name itself suggests that it is something where you have to fire and then you need not to guide this missile. It will automatically after locking the target, it will automatically search and hit the target. So all these points are important from this news. And what is this New Shepard rocket system? It is a rocket system which is meant to take tourists to the space successfully, and this system has been built by the Blue Origins. This is important. And New Shepard is related to what, this can be asked. It is being built by Blue Origins or any other company, this can be asked. And it has been named after the astronaut Alan Shepard, which was the first American to go to space. This can be asked. Then it offers flights to space over 100 kilometers above the Earth, and also for accommodation of payloads. Payload means any other thing, any other equipment which can be taken. So how UPSC asks such kind of questions? It can ask that, and this New Shepard system, this can take the tourist or payload up to say 1000 kilometers. Automatically you will come to know that 1000 is way beyond its capability. It is looking something which is very large. Automatically it sounds very large. So you need not to remember this 100 kilometer, but it is an easy figure to remember, and at least you may gauge out that and you may have an idea that if any such statement is being given by UPSC, you can eliminate. The system is fully reusable. This can also be asked. Vertical takeoff, etc. These are not important. Then scientific objectives of the mission are that, okay, this is also a mistake, this numbering system, sorry for this. Then the objectives of this mission, they are that they want to provide the academic research in the space, means where scientists can work in the zero gravity or the sub-gravitational fields, and also various technological and entrepreneurial ventures can be there. So by various companies these things can be developed, and especially the research in the zero gravity labs can be developed. So this project becomes important. And one more important thing which can be asked, that Karman line, it is related to what thing? It is actually the internationally recognized boundary of the space, that say this is Earth, this is this Karman line. Beyond this line there is space. So the main objective of this New Shepard rocket system is to take the tourist beyond this line, beyond this Karman line, to take the astronauts and the research payload to the space beyond this line, because this is the line which is actually determining the extent of the space and the Earth system. So these things become very important for us. Now let's take up the environment section. It is a small section this time. The first thing is related to China's emission trading scheme, ETS. What happens that every country is determining a certain target to reduce their emissions. Okay, say there is one country. Wait. Say there is one country, it has fixed the target of 100 units, that it will be emitting 100 units, and there is another country which has set the target of 50 units. Say this country was not being able to adhere to its targets, and it emitted 110 units, means it emitted 10 extra, and it emitted only say 40 units, means 10 less. So it should be rewarded, and there should be some mechanism for this country to compensate, otherwise there will be no deterrence factor left. So what happens here is that this country is having 10 less, so these 10 points will be given in the form of a reward to this country, that okay, you have emitted 10 units less, so you are being given a paper which is having the value of 10. 10 can be anything, means its value can be anything, means its actual monetary value. So you are being given this paper which is having a value of 10, and it is in need of 10, as it is in deficit, it is in surplus of 10, this country. So this country will trade these 10 with this country, means this country is going to give these 10 to this country and in turn get some money out of it. This is known as emission trading system, ETS. This is also known as carbon trading. For this there was a system, means where are you going to trade all these things. Okay, you are saying that you will be trading these things, but what is the place, where is the place where you are going to do this thing, this trading? There was the world's largest trading system, which was European Union's emission trading system, ETS. Now China has replaced this emission trading system of European Union by China's emission trading scheme, and China has launched this officially after running the pilot projects at the local level for over a decade, so that they wanted to confirm that whether this thing is going to work or not. And now China has officially launched its national carbon emission trading market. And one important thing, which this was the concept, the main thing which is important to this China's emission trading system is this Article 6 of Paris Agreement. It can be asked that Article 6 of Paris Agreement is related to what? Now let's come up with another news, which is from Africa, and this thing, if asked in the examination and if you are not knowing this fact, you can easily be disguised by this option, that because Africa is not a continent where you can expect such things to happen. What has happened is that Africa has become the first continent in the world to complete the collection of accurate, comprehensive, and harmonized digital land use and land use change data under the Africa Open Deal initiative. Means they have made the digital records of their lands and how their land use pattern is changing with respect to environment, means their cropping pattern, their land use with respect to construction and other things, so that they can also come up with the conclusion that how land is being saved or degraded or being used, and they can have better policies with respect to the agriculture and the food crisis and also the climate change. So here DEAL is something which stands for Data for the Environment, Agriculture and Land Initiative. Means data, they are collecting this land data for three things: environment, like I told, and agriculture and land initiatives, also the land use and also the agriculture, means the food crisis. They will be having better idea and better initiatives can be taken. Then the data collection and the analysis, this thing has been initiated and it has been led by the FAO, means Food and Agriculture Organization, and the African Union Commission. This can be asked. This is important, that Africa has become the first continent or not, and what is open deal system, and it is being in a collaborative effort of FAO or and AUC or any other option can be there. So this way these things can be asked. And with this we came to the end of our current affairs session, and I hope you would have liked this session and the way the questions can be asked. You will keep all these points in mind, and also you will ponder upon all such things so that you can yourself also come up with an idea that how one has to deal with current affairs, and you will get experience with time. And I will make sure that I will give my best in ensuring that you get all the experience from my side which I have gained through all these years. Now let's take up this main special. These points can be used in the mains examination, and these are mostly relevant to the mains examination. If there is any question which is related to self-help groups, Ssgs are actually a group of people coming together, especially women, who are pooling in their resources, and they are starting an initiative, say in industry or trade or any such initiative where they can benefit. Means an economic activity is being done by them at a smaller scale, and bank is also providing various loans and incentives to them under various schemes, like we will see under these points. First, let's take up the origin. The origin of Ssgs in India can be traced back to the establishment of Self-Employed Women Association, which is known as SEWA, in 1972. It can also be asked in prelims that SEWA is related to what. And Ila Bhatt formed SEWA. This is an important fact. And she organized poor and self-employed women workers such as weavers, potters, hawkers and others in unorganized sector with the objective of enhancing their income. Like I said, that it is an economic activity, and it is an unorganized sector. Usually unorganized sector means where less than 10 people are involved, so it is a small group and mostly women. And NABARD in 1992 formed the self-help group bank linkage project, as per which loans will be given to the Ssgs at various concessional rates. And today this is the world's largest microfinance project, because small finance are being given to these Ssgs under this scheme. So with this we completed our whole session, and again I would say keep supporting us, share, like and subscribe to our channel, and also tell us about if you are having any doubts, or if we can improve at certain places, and also participate in the quiz so that you may have better understanding of these topics and how these topics can be asked in the examination. I put my all the efforts to tell you whatever I can, that how these things can be asked in the examination, but still the objectives will make some of these efforts more fruitful for you and for me also. So keep supporting us and go through the quiz, and also tell us if you are having any queries. Thank you.